Sit down, son, not because I'm older, but because this conversation deserves stillness. If you're listening to this while lying in bed, or driving late at night, or staring at your ceiling wondering where your time went, then listen slowly, because nobody warned me, and I don't want you learning this the hard way. I used to believe life would eventually make sense, that one day, I'd wake up and feel ready. Ready to start, ready to choose, ready to become, but life doesn't announce those moments, it just keeps moving, and one day, you realize you've been running without asking where you're going. I didn't feel lost in my 20s. I felt busy. Productive. Responsible. People said I was doing well. That's the lie that traps most men. If life looks good from the outside, no one asks how it feels on the inside, including you. I did what I was supposed to do. I chose stability over passion, silence over honesty, approval over truth, not because I was weak, because I was afraid of being wrong, afraid of choosing a path and failing publicly, afraid of disappointing people who didn't live my life. Afraid of realizing that I might waste my best years playing it safe, so I waited. Waiting feels smart when you call it patience. Years passed, not dramatically. Quietly, that's how regret grows, quietly. There was no rock bottom, no explosion. No collapse, just a slow erosion. I stopped noticing sunsets, stopped feeling proud of my effort, stopped asking myself what I wanted. I woke up tired even after sleep, smiled without feeling joy, laughed without warmth. I told myself, this is adulthood. It wasn't, it was numbness. The moment that changed everything didn't happen in public, it happened alone. I was sitting at my kitchen table, late at night, staring at nothing. My phone was face down. No noise. No distractions, and suddenly, a thought entered my mind, calm but terrifying. If nothing changes, this will be your life forever. That thought didn't scare me because life was terrible, it scared me because it was acceptable, and an acceptable life can quietly kill your spirit. Let me tell you something you won't hear enough, a man doesn't need chaos to feel trapped. Routine can be a cage too. I realized something painful that night. I wasn't stuck, I was choosing familiarity over growth, and familiarity is seductive. It tells you, just stay a little longer. Don't risk it yet. You have time. Time, the most dangerous lie we believe is that we have plenty of it. Son, listen to me carefully now, your life doesn't change when you feel ready. It changes when you get honest, honest about what drains you, honest about what scares you, honest about what you're avoiding. Most men aren't lazy, they're disconnected, disconnected from their purpose, disconnected from their intuition, disconnected from themselves. I spent years being a good man. Reliable, understanding, always available, and slowly, I taught people something terrible. I taught them my needs were optional. At work, I overperformed and stayed quiet. In relationships, I gave and hoped. In family, I carried more than my share. People didn't disrespect me intentionally, they just followed my example. Here's a truth that stings but heals: if you don't respect your time, nobody else will. If you don't protect your energy, people will consume it, and if you don't speak for yourself, life will speak over you. I reached a point where I felt invisible, not ignored, just unseen. That's a lonely place, because no one notices your absence when you've always been there. That's when I understood something most men learn too late: being needed is not the same as being valued. Change didn't come loudly. It came through discomfort. I started saying no, and not explaining, started choosing rest, without guilt, started spending time alone, without shame. Some people pulled away, that hurt, but the silence that followed, it was clean, peaceful. Loneliness gets a bad reputation, but loneliness with self-respect is better than company that drains you. I learned to sit with myself, no noise, no scrolling, no pretending, and in that silence, I met someone I hadn't known in years, me. Here's something important, son: confidence is not loud, it's quiet consistency. It's waking up when it's uncomfortable, doing what you promised yourself, keeping your word, especially when no one sees. Discipline builds identity, and identity builds peace. I stopped chasing motivation. Motivation is unreliable, I started chasing alignment. Does this choice respect my future self? Does this action match the man I want to become? Those questions changed everything. Let me tell you about regret, real regret. It's not about failure, it's about realizing you didn't try when you could have. It's about looking back and saying, I knew better. But I stayed comfortable. That regret doesn't scream, it whispers at night, son, the world will not stop for you. People will not remind you of your dreams. No one will come tap your shoulder and say, hey, it's time to become who you're meant to be. You have to decide, quietly, firmly, daily. You don't need a perfect plan, you need a direction, you don't need confidence. You need courage, and courage comes after action, not before. I want you to hear this clearly, you are not behind, but you are responsible for your habits, your boundaries, your standards. Life responds to what you tolerate. One day, sooner than you think, you'll look back at this version of yourself, and you'll either feel gratitude, or regret. That decision is made in ordinary moments. What you do when you're tired. What you choose when no one's watching, what you avoid because it scares you. Let me leave you with this.